Sergio Busquets is arguably the greatest defensive midfielder to ever play football, and with him, Barcelona had a reliable anchor in their team for over a decade. Replacing that kind of player is far from easy, and with Oriol Romeu, Barcelona have just delayed the problem. Eventually, they will still need to go on and find a new pure defensive midfielder who can be the reference in that position for the coming decade. Gabriel Moscardo, a Brazilian 18-year-old talent playing for Corinthians, is one of the most talented defensive midfielders out there, and he would be perfect for that role at Barcelona. Why would he fit in well at Barcelona, and why should Barcelona sign him and not just trust Frenkie de Jong or someone else in that position? Well, that's what we'll discuss in this video, so make sure to stay tuned. First of all, let's have a look at Gabriel Moscardo's profile. He's known for being extremely versatile. Defensively, he's the kind of player to win back balls for you and to stop counterattacks. He's very good at tackling, timing his interceptions and tackles, and knowing where he has to position himself when Corinthians are not in possession. He's basically the prototype of what a defensive midfielder should be like defensively. When he's on the ball, he's great at maintaining that ball and being press resistant. His vision is great and he rarely makes a wrong pass. He can also drive forward with the ball like Frenkie de Jong is able to do so, and he's also able to shoot from distance. Long story short, he's a very all-round defensive midfielder, and as an 18-year-old still, he could be the player to occupy Barcelona's defensive midfield spot for the coming decade. But who tells us that he will fit in well at Barcelona? If Barcelona would sign him, would he then be able to adapt? Well, Barcelona right now have Oriol Romeu as a defensive midfielder, and he might have come up through La Masia and know Barcelona's style very well, but given someone like Oriol Romeu is able of playing for Barcelona, Gabriel Moscardo should definitely be able to do the same. And Barcelona don't need much from their defensive midfielder, honestly. In Barcelona's midfield right now, the two interiors are players like Gavi, Frenkie de Jong, Gundogan and Pedri. That's a whole lot of creativity. Creating chances isn't an area for constraint for this team. Definitely not considering that they have a defender like Joao Cancelo, who is as creative as your average playmaker. The main thing that Barcelona need from their defensive midfielder, and the kind of player that they don't already have in Frenkie de Jong or Gundogan, is someone who can recover the ball, someone who can stop counterattacks, a link between defense and midfield, and the kind of player that just solidifies the midfield of Barcelona. If Moscardo can properly adapt himself to Xavi's system and understand his role, then he would fit in perfectly. He has the qualities to make Barcelona's midfield fluent in possession, while also being the player who provides safety defensively. But do Barcelona actually need a new defensive midfielder? Now they might have Oriol Romeu, but can't players like Frenkie de Jong and even Gavi or Gundogan play a defensive midfield as well? Well, in La Liga games against low block teams maybe, but in the big games you want to have a defensive midfielder who is disciplined enough to stick to his position and who can prevent you from being vulnerable to counterattacks. With Frenkie de Jong, the problem is that if you play him at defensive midfield, he's just not at his best. Defensively, he's not the best when it comes to ball recoveries, and offensively, he might be a great passer, he might be press resistant, he might have astonishing vision, but he doesn't stick to that defensive midfield position. At his best, he roams with the ball looking for options. He runs forward with the ball to break the lines, he positions himself where he can be useful. He's not the kind of player to just stick to one position in the way that Busquets did. And the problem is that if he leaves that position and Barcelona lose the ball, there's a huge gap of space in there for the opponent to use. And that way you're very prone to counterattacks. Gundogan is actually better at sticking to the defensive midfield position, but still, recovering balls is not his biggest quality and he won't be at Barcelona for the next decade. They need someone else to occupy that position in the future. What about Gavi? Well, Gavi is prolific at recovering balls, he makes the ball circulate fluently, he's very press resistant, he's actually got all of the qualities to play at defensive midfield, right? Problem is, Xavi just hasn't tried to play him in defensive midfield yet. Now, if Gavi turns out to be a real option at defensive midfield, then I understand why you would have second thoughts about signing Gabriel Moscardo. But if not for Gavi, Gabriel Moscardo is a player that Barcelona just need right now. And the thing is, he wouldn't really be a flat-out Sergio Busquets replacement. He's way more physical than Busquets and he's way better at recovering balls and winning duels, it seems. At the same time though, he's also a very gifted player technically. So this guy might really be the final piece of the puzzle to complete Barcelona's midfield. And it will be really interesting to see whether Barcelona can sign him, and if they manage to do so, whether he would be able to fit in. That was it for today's video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and feel free to share your own opinion in the comments down below. Força Barça, Força Gabriel Moscardo, and have a good day.